This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams, reporting tonight from the Olympic Winter Games in Sochi, Russia.
Good evening. Today, an official of the United Nations tried to tell the world, so there will be no mistake, that we are living in the midst of a modern-day Hitler. We are talking about Kim Jong-un, the young leader of North Korea, and this report from the UN is an attempt to wake up the world so no one will ever say, as they did after World War II, for instance, that they didn't realize how bad it was until it was too late. This evidence is based on interviews from defectors and survivors. The UN said today North Korea, quote, has no parallel in the contemporary world. It's where we begin our broadcast tonight with our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Andrea Mitchell.
North Korea's Kim Jong-un at his father's mausoleum, a birthday tribute Sunday, even as the UN accuses the Kim dynasty of Nazi-like atrocities, a vast network of prison camps, horrors going back decades, extermination, murder, enslavement, torture, imprisonment, rape, sexual violence, and forced abortions.
There will be no excusing a failure of action because we didn't know. We do know.
Survivors of the prison sketched pictures to illustrate starvation, torture, and public execution of hundreds of thousands for the UN and for Human Rights Watch, an advocacy group. Lee Young-guk, a prisoner at Camp 15, said a fellow prisoner trying to escape was dragged back to the camp behind a truck, then executed for all to see. Kim Hae-suk, imprisoned for 28 years, drew pictures after she got out. She said guards would spit in their mouths. If they gagged, they'd be beaten. Former guards told Human Rights Watch many people lost their minds. Children starved. Families foraged for snakes or mice to feed their children. And the UN report says when women prisoners gave birth, most often guards force either the mother or a third person to kill the baby by drowning it in water or suffocating it by holding a cloth or other item against its face, or putting the baby face down so that it cannot breathe.
This report is really the most comprehensive documentation that we've seen of the unimaginable cruelties of the North Korean prison camp system.
No freedom. Ju-il Kim, a North Korean army general who defected, says today's report could bring hope to the North Korean people. But will they ever learn of it?
I don't think there's any regime in history that has controlled information and hermetically sealed the country like North Korea.
The UN Commission also warned China it could be guilty of aiding and abetting crimes against humanity by returning North Korean defectors who were then executed. China will likely block the Security Council from punishing North Korea, which today called the charges a plot to defame and sabotage its country. Advocates say the UN's General Assembly, where China has no veto, should now take action so this report gets a world forum. Brian?
Andrea, as we said, it's hard to hear about, but the UN says they need the world to know. Andrea Mitchell from our DC News.
저 자식 버릇 남자도 해가고 싶지 않니? 근데 진짜 어찌 옷가니? 저는 지난 1년간 모든 준비를 마쳤습니다. 믿을 만한 거강꾼도 있고 의신처와 교통편까지 다 마련해 나왔습니다.
네 정말 도강을 할 작정이니?
아저씨, 우리 갖고 왔노시나?
한번 해보지비.
자, 입들 쫙 벌리셔요. 자, 받겠습니다. 하나, 둘.
철호야, 우리 영석이
그런 말도 없어. 무조건 다 데리고 나갑니다.
주철우? 주철우가 주동문제야!